Hello, everybody. My name's Rick McCutcheon. I'm a Dynamics 365 MVP, and I'm here today with Shawn Lisbon from Impartner. Shawn, introduce yourself and tell the people a little bit about Impartner and PRM software, which your company specializes in.
Sure. Thanks, Rick. Appreciate you having me on. So Impartner, we're a PRM SaaS-based platform. So we're designed to sort of connect seamlessly with your CRM system to help you manage indirect sales models. So whether you have a traditional channel program where you're sort of selling through retailers and resellers, VARs, systems integrators, IT consultants, or if it's brokers, whatever that model is, you've got that indirect route to market, and you want to manage that relationship piece. You want to manage how you talk to them. And a lot of that information is going to be really synchronized within a CRM platform. And so we connect in that fashion and want to make sure that you can access that without letting third-party entities kind of into your back office and your CRM system. So we sort of act as that management layer.
And I'm glad you're here today because, in our Dynamics 365 world, we've had a bit of a leg in any real major PRM player. And I think it's a big opportunity of connecting channels to Dynamics CRM. So, talk a little bit about, the market and, we were going through digital transformation before we went through this pandemic. So maybe we can talk a little bit about what you're seeing in these, difficult times and how companies are managing their channels.
Yeah, sure. And it's really interesting, right? Because, there's some statistics out there that will tell you that 75% of goods and services are sold at the local level, right? And so if you think of that, when an emergency like this happens, right, having a physical entity or a partnership within a local region is more important than ever, right? With travel restrictions, marketing dollars cut, trade shows aren't happening, right? There's all this stuff sort of on pause, but there's still going to be hopefully demand for your product. There's going to be questions from consumers, and they're going to be in office in regions looking for those answers and looking for help. And so it's kind of interesting for us. We've seen a lot of companies in certain verticals that are really focused on sort of remote things or tied into security or healthcare or anything that's emerging technology related to sort of virtualization. They're incredibly interested right now in managing these ecosystems and building channel programs because there's a huge demand suddenly for their products, and they need a way to quickly get up and running and manage those relationships and be profitable and get those partners up and running, trained, certified, understanding what their product does, know how to sell it, and get them to that revenue perspective as fast as they can. And so having a sort of situation like this, you want to be as nimble and quick to market as you can if you're in one of those industries that can actually benefit from a situation like this. And even if you don't, even if this is hurting you in your bottom line because of your industry, you still need to be talking to those local partners that you have. You need them more than ever to be able to relay your sort of pandemic message with your product into that market that you serve.
And I'm finding now that in all walks, because I do a lot of training, dynamics training and things, that companies are saying, well, maybe we don't need everybody to get together. Maybe we don't need to travel as much. And I think we're going to see that in many markets to say, okay, where I had 20, 30 people out there managing territories, maybe I need 5, and maybe I need them to develop, channels. So talk a little bit about functionality. So when we talk about a PRM portal, it's not just an opportunity management system. What else can it do for you?
Yeah. So, I think if you've ever sold in some sort of indirect model, you've managed those people in some capacity. You've either had a spreadsheet or you've built a SharePoint drive or something static as a place that they can come in and interact with you as a company. What PRM does and what Impartner focuses on is sort of that partner experience, right? How do you get that partner to pick you every time, right? Because one of the things that happens often, think of something like hardware security or software security. There's going to be a lot of competition. It's a commoditized software product. How do you stand out? How do you make sure that a partner recommends your product versus your competitors and does more and more business with you? Well, you need to walk them through an experience of how they get onboarded with you, how they work best with you, how they make money with you, And you can't just have a static environment or a page that they come to that doesn't sort of live and breathe with that experience that that partner journey needs to have. And so for us, we know that the CRM is the heartbeat of how you manage everything within a business related to sales and marketing. And you know that you're going to want to share that information out to these third-party entities because it's going to be just as relevant to them being able to do business for you as it is. But you don't want them living in two different databases. You don't want to have two different systems that aren't connected. So for us, we really focus on keeping the CRM as the house of record. We have a managed solution for Dynamics that connects right into CE. And the whole idea is that the people within the CRM side of the house can stay in the CRM and answer questions, approve, deny, right? Sort of see real time what's coming in from their indirect channel and interact with it. And on our side, we want to have configurability. So we don't want them to say, come in and bring in Accenture and spend, $1 million to build out this big custom portal, right? What we'll say is we already know how channel programs work because we're channel experts. And so we want more of a configurable model that can do that breathing, right? And that sort of growth and expansion and shrinking as your channel evolves in a much more modular fashion. So for us, we want you to be able to create segments of partners, right? Where there could be gold tiers and platinum tiers, or it could be distributors versus resellers, or it could be brokers versus dealers. And then you want to create experiences that those different segments see when they come in. So you don't want someone that doesn't sell. If you're a manufacturer that sells multiple types of plumbing equipment, if someone's a dealer that you created a segment for that only sells plumbing, not the tubs, you want to make sure that they don't come in and see everything and then have to sift through all of that, right?
So Shawn, how long does it take your team to actually deploy a portal for a customer?
So for pretty standard configurations of the basic stuff that most clients use, you can be up and running in as little as 14 days. It can go
That's
up
impressive.
to 2. Yeah, it can go up to 2 months if you're a larger enterprise and you've got a lot of things you need us to configure for you. But we're building out our own channel program as well with a lot of consultants that really understand how our product works and can offer value into sort of maneuvering within your sort of program that's distinct for you. So we've got a few options between our internal team as well as the consultants that we have. We try to keep it under 2 months if possible. But that's mainly because we're not custom building huge chunks of product for you. We're configuring our product to match your needs.
And you can scale from an SMB type solution right to an enterprise.
Yeah, I would say right now we sort of run the gamut in size and size of companies, right? So we deal with a lot of very large enterprises with very complex rules of engagement around who does what and where partners live. And we deal with a lot of startup companies or high growth companies that are just getting to that stage to go indirect. And the first thing they want to do is purchase a PRM to start managing that from a go forward date. So we sort of run the gamut. The people that can be up and running very quick tend to be the smaller companies that are going to use the core functionality as their sort of starting point. And then they're going to go up with it from there. And what we find is a lot of companies tend to grow with us, right? As their channel grows, they're able to use more and more of our modules and things that fill different needs without having to switch vendors, right, as your channel grows.
Yeah. So I think you guys are in the right place at the right time. We're seeing changes to business models. We're seeing more people realize that this data that our channel owns is really valuable. And I know I did a project a couple of years ago in the telecom field, and we had all these telecom partners and they had their own separate portal for opportunities. And then I had my client over here with the CRM data, and that data was so different, and it had accumulated for 2 or 3 years. So we just had this mess of data, and I'm thinking, what was the lost opportunity cost of having this separate data? I mean, it's so valuable. So I'm glad you guys are here. We want to be able to use analytics. We want to be able to look at our CRM and really tell what's going on with our businesses. And I think that PRM component is really important. So Shawn, thanks for your time today. I'm looking forward to talking to you more in the future about partner relationship management and Impartner. So, good luck going forward with all these opportunities, because I think you're going to be one busy guy.
That's great. Thanks for having me, Rick. Really appreciate it.
Thanks.